let everybody have the freedom of marriage, be able to marry who you want and be able to be with who you want and not be bashed in public because of your way of life. And so I recently saw pictures of the LGBT had a little get together in New York trying to get the message across that they want equality for lesbian gay rights. And this really made me think, just like, wow, I saw so many signs that said like things like gay people shouldn't get married, man was made to be with woman, and woman was made to be with man, and like the Bible says Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and just horrible things like that. Like bringing the Bible into this. The Bible does not criticize. The Bible, Christianity is a loving thing. God is a loving person, and he loves all his children. So how are you just gonna X out somebody saying, oh, well, God doesn't like? You can't say who God doesn't like because you are not God. And you know what? You just leave that alone and let people be who they want to be. And so I think that it's really heartbreaking how so many people can be so ignorant just because of something they don't know. And it's also reminded me of the American Civil Rights Movement. Like, I see so many similarities to the LGBT movement, to the Civil Rights Movement. So many people say black people are supposed to be enslaved and gay people are supposed to be burned. Like, so many people are so quick to say we've overcome that time of ignorance in American history when we haven't. It's coming right back. We had that span. I mean, ignorance is never going away, apparently, even though Martin Luther King did not die for this. He died for rights, human rights. And gay marriage should be a human right. I mean, marry who you want to. If you feel the need to marry a woman, you should be able to go to a courthouse and say, I want to marry Judy, and Judy wants to marry Sarah, and they should get married. Just like if Sarah wanted to marry Adam and Adam wanted to marry Sarah, they could get married. But see, Sarah can't marry Emily. And why can't Sarah marry Emily? Because they're two women. What is the big difference? They're still two humans. They're still two members of society. So what's so wrong with being a member of society? What's so wrong with being in love with who you want to be in love with? Some people just don't fit the average criteria, and oh what? Everybody's different. Everybody's special in their own way. And so I don't think that they should be X'd out or just pushed away like African Americans were during the Civil Rights Movement. Because think of how you would feel if you wanted to marry the same gender as you, and you couldn't. That's how black people felt when they wanted to marry white people back in the American Civil Rights Movement. They couldn't.
You know, I think there's an interesting item here that we'd like to sort of bring in, because I think you've mentioned the Stonewall riots, and you've also made some kind of comparison to the same riots in California at the time,
the
LA riots at the same time, and I think that most people don't understand. Well, why don't you talk about that? Because
earlier I was thinking about it, and not that I'm really comparing the LA riots to the Stonewall riots, but they were both triggered by an event that shook up a community. The Rodney King beating shook up the African American community. The LA riots. Police raids shook up the gay community. Stonewall riots. It's ignorance shaking up people, making them do irrational things. Ignorance is the main component in this. What if Rodney King was never severely beaten? I'm not gonna say that there weren't that there wouldn't have been the LA riots, but Rodney King's beating inspired the LA riots. So there might not have been LA riots. That's just like me trying to say if Adolf Hitler was never born, there wouldn't have been a Holocaust. There could have been somebody other than Hitler who could have inspired a thing like the Holocaust. We'll never know. But still, if the police had never started to raid Stonewall and raid it, we might not have had the Stonewall riots. But then, without the Stonewall riots, we wouldn't have had that catalyst to push off the LGBT movement in America. But see, even without it, gay people probably would not have still been able to get married to this day, because as I was saying, this has been people have accepted this even before the 18th century. And so you really got to think about it. It's almost like, I mean, you aren't any better than a person because of beliefs. Like, that's like me going down the street and saying, hey, I'm better than you because I'm a Methodist and you're a Catholic. So, I mean, that's your way of life and my way of life. Everybody should be able to express themselves as they wish to express themselves. And the LGBT movement is similar to bullying. I mean, you are scared to be yourself and to come out and be your true self because of how society is going to look at you. I used to be scared to do so-and-so. I'd be scared to speak out in class or have elaborate answers to questions because I'd see my classmates just glare at me and say, wow, she's so-and-so and so-and-so. But then I overcame that. I'm proud of who I am. And I will stand up in class and I will say what I want to and I will have the most elaborate answer you might ever hear.
Okay,
because I'm true to myself.
And Lana, I think, and while you're dealing with all of these elaborate answers that you're giving us now, and we certainly appreciate that, what we're